Thank you, Jesse, for that appropriately brief introduction. I'm very honored to be here and grateful to you and to your team here in the U.S. Attorney's Office for Washington, D.C. for all the vital work that you do to support the mission of the Department of Justice and promote public safety. To our colleagues and law enforcement partners who are here today, I want to thank you for joining us and for these important announcements about the Department's fight against transnational criminal organizations. Looking around this room, I see many people I know from our time working together, fighting crime. We're very fortunate to have one of the most rewarding legal jobs, the pursuit of justice. You all do it every day. You do it professionally, with humility, and generally without much recognition. Now, the public may not know you, but they see the fruits of your hard work. They see it in neighborhoods and communities made safer, in wrongs made right, victims made whole. The job of serving as a prosecutor has become more complex since I started in this business 28 years ago. The threats do not just come from our own cities, they also come from foreign nations, thousands of miles away. Transnational criminal organizations, whether they are gangs, drug trafficking cartels, or terrorist groups, are a scourge on our communities. They sow violence and sell poisonous drugs. They bribe public officials and fuel corruption. They terrorize innocent, law-abiding citizens. And they are increasingly smart about how they commit their crimes. They use the financial system and modern technology, cell phones, social media, encryption, and other tools in support of their illicit activities. And we sometimes refer to transnational criminal organizations as TCOs. And TCOs operate on multiple fronts. So must we. We need to use every tool in the government's arsenal to combat them. Investigations, prosecutions, financial penalties, and collaboration with our foreign partners. We need to strike at TCOs wherever they are and with whatever means are at our disposal. Dismantle their command and control systems. Recover ill-gotten gains. Cut them off from opportunities to commit more crimes. As we redouble our efforts and target more TCOs, they will feel the full weight of the United States government and our partners. We're here today to announce what is just the beginning of a multi-front campaign against TCOs. I'm joined today by two people who will be integral to the Department of Justice initiative to eliminate TCOs. First, Adam Cohen. Adam Cohen serves as the director of our Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, a nationwide program to fight drug trafficking. An experienced narcotics and gang prosecutor, Adam most recently served as chief of the Special Operations Unit of our Office of Enforcement Operations in the Criminal Division. He also led the department's National Gang Targeting, Enforcement, and Coordination Center and served as deputy chief of the Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs Section. His wealth of experience will serve the department's mission well, and the Attorney General selected Adam for this important job and challenged him to step up our nationwide efforts to target TCOs. We're also joined today by Patrick Hovakimian, a prosecutor who investigates and prosecutes transnational, corrupt organizations and fraud. Patrick joined us in Main Justice last year, where he now serves as an Associate Deputy Attorney General. In that capacity, Patrick will also serve as the department's first director of counter-transnational organized crime. Patrick is working with the Department of Homeland Security and other agencies to build a whole-of-government initiative to dismantle TCOs. Now, everyone in this law enforcement community should know that you have the full support of the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. We know that the long days and nights that you spend make a difference. They matter to us and to the people of the United States, and you will continue to have our full support. Today it's my distinct honor to introduce a man who has dedicated his distinguished career to upholding the rule of law. Before becoming Attorney General of the United States, Jeff Sessions served as an Assistant United States Attorney, United States Attorney, State Attorney General, and a United States Senator. He is a public servant of the highest order. And he's not just here to carry on business as usual. He is here to deliver on President Trump's commitment to make America safe. We at the Department of Justice are fortunate to have his leadership and for the example that he sets every day. So please join me in welcoming the 84th Attorney General of the United States, Jeff Sessions.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you all. Rod and I were talking about this job, and we both served 12 years as United States Attorney. Not many had that duty or responsibility or honor to serve that long, and so his experience, as you all know, is so valuable to us in the Department of Justice, and it informs his leadership every day as the key position that he holds, the Deputy Attorney General of the United States. There's a Patrick and Adam, we want to thank you for the leadership you'll be providing to the department. We take very, very seriously the challenge that we face from international organizations with criminal intent. They challenge the very law of the United States, the very sovereignty of the United States. They assert their own law, their own sovereignty. They impose their own penalties, their own punishments, and they have their own ways of taxing innocent people in our country. They represent a direct threat to us. We cannot allow them to expand their influence, and we will not. And I know, Patrick and Adam, you will be giving every waking moment of your efforts to that challenge. So we've got a lot of law enforcement leadership in the room. Jessie Liu, our fabulous United States Attorney. She is experienced and knowledgeable, a leader of integrity and ability, and I know you are enjoying working with her. Thomas Chittum of ATF, Scott Hernke of Drug Enforcement Administration, Matthew DeSarno of the FBI, and Patrick Glider of Homeland Security Investigations. These are the kind of teams that we have together that make the Department of Justice and our law enforcement community so effective. We also have a number of prosecutors, Mexican prosecutors, with us today. Would you hold your hands up? I'd like to recognize you if you're in the room. Very good. We're so glad to have you here. Thank you for that partnership. It cannot be done effectively, that is, challenging transnational criminal organizations, if both sides of our borders aren't working together. We just got back from Europe and talking about all other kinds of transnational organizations that we'll be focusing on too. So I want to thank our prosecutors in this office and our local partners who participate with them. You are doing important work. It's especially important against these violent gangs and cartels. Almost a year ago, this office, you obtained life sentences for the two hitmen of the Los Zetas cartel who murdered a Homeland HSI Special Agent Jaime Zapata and attempted to murder HSI Special Agent Victor Avila. These were vicious crimes against two outstanding law enforcement officers, and you have brought them to justice. And so I especially want to thank AUSA Michael DiLorenzo, AUSA Fernando Sanchez, trial attorneys David Carpel and Karen Seifert, as well as AUSA Jocelyn Ballantyne, former Assistant Deputy Chief Andrea Goldberg. Great work to all of you. Thank you for what you do. And, of course, that case was investigated by our FBI agents and with the assistance of ATF, DEA, Marshals Service, Custom Border Patrol officers, and the State Department, along with our allies in Mexico. This is a perfect example of what law enforcement cooperation looks like and what we have to have. Taking on transnational criminal groups like the cartels is a priority of the President and for his administration. The same day I was sworn in as Attorney General, President Trump ordered me to disrupt these criminal groups in an executive order. We've embraced that goal, and we have been faithful to it every day. And this is true at Main Justice. It's true in this office and in other offices around the country. For example, we've hammered the vicious MS-13, which is, as you know, based in El Salvador. With more than 10,000 members in the United States, this gang is the most violent gang in America today. And the people in this room know it well. MS-13 has put a special target on Washington, D.C. and the surrounding area. The people of this city remember the brutal killings of Cristian Sosa Rivas and 15-year-old Damaris Reyes Rivas from Fairfax County. Sosa Rivas was just 21 years of age when his mutilated body was found along the Potomac. And according to testimony, Damaris Rivas was stabbed 13 times with knives and a wooden stake in the woods in Springfield. We're also told it was all captured on video to show the gang leaders back home in El Salvador, the ones who ordered the hit, exactly what they'd done. They were so proud of it. The Washington area also remembers the brutal killings of Nelson Omar Trujillo. 8 MS-13 members lured him to a park in Falls Church, stabbed him to death with machetes and knives. In that very same park, Gerson Aguilar was beheaded and buried by MS-13. A total of 13 defendants were charged for this murder. MS-13 member Jonathan Fuentes was sentenced to 10 years for helping run a prostitution ring that specialized in selling underage girls. At hotels in Washington, Maryland, and Northern Virginia, the girls were given drugs in an effort to make them dependent on their traffickers. In Alexandria, MS-13 member Jose Juarez Santa Maria was sentenced to life in prison for trafficking a 12-year-old. MS-13 member Alexander Rivas and Rancy Amaya were also behind bars right now for trafficking underage girls in Washington. Well, I could go on and on. You know the story. There are countless stories of disregard for human dignity and life. The consequences for this community are grave. We have these kind of prosecutions all over the country, but we know we have a serious problem here. Last October, I designated MS-13 as a priority for our OCDF, our Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Forces. As this group knows well, these task forces bring together a broad coalition of our federal prosecutors, our DEA, FBI, ATF, ICE, HSI, IRS, the Department of Labor, Inspectors General, the Postal Service inspectors, Secret Service, the Marshal Service, and the Coast Guard. Great partners in the OCDF project. It brings together just about every federal law enforcement agency there is. It's, as it's been said, the Swiss Army knife of law enforcement. With Adam Cohen in charge, they're going to be even more effective and aggressive than ever. Thank you, Adam, for undertaking this task. I've enjoyed talking with you about it, and I can sense the enthusiasm and determination he has as he takes on this task. These agencies have diverse capabilities and jurisdictions, but they have one mission: to go after drug traffickers and criminal organizations at the highest levels. MS-13 sell drugs, but they're not primarily a drug trafficking organization. I've ordered OCDF to prioritize MS-13, not because of their drug trafficking alone, but because OCDF is such a powerful weapon to use against this vicious gang. OCDF is able to hit them from all angles. That's why I've ordered them to prosecute MS-13 members for any violation of law that we can prove whatsoever. Not just drug laws, but anything from RICO to tax laws to firearms laws, just like we took Al Capone off the streets. I've told our OCDF people to use whatever laws we have to get these people prosecuted, dismantled, and off our streets. So today I'm announcing our next steps to carry out President Trump's order to take MS-13 and other TCOs off the streets. I've directed FBI, DEA, OCDF, the Department's Criminal Division, to identify top transnational criminal organizations that threaten our safety and prosperity. Based on the counsel that I have received from these experienced professionals, today I'm designating the following 5 criminal groups as our top transnational organized crime threats, ones that we are going to focus on and give special all-of-government attention to. MS-13, our new Jalisco cartel, the Sinaloa cartel, Clan del Golfo, Lebanese Hezbollah. So today I'm announcing that we are creating a transnational organized crime task force of experienced prosecutors who will coordinate our efforts, develop a plan to take each of these groups off our streets, to defeat them, to dismantle them, to weaken them in every possible way. The new task force will be led by Rod Rosenstein, our capable and effective Deputy Attorney General. And I want to thank Patrick Hovakimian in his office, in Rod's office, who will be stepping up and taking charge of this task force. The new task force will be organized into one subcommittee for each of these target organizations. And I'm confident it's going to be very effective. The subcommittee on MS-13 will be led by Assistant United States Attorney John Durham of the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of New York. I've been there. I've met with John. He is an experienced prosecutor. He's played a significant role in leading the FBI's Long Island Task Force, focusing on MS-13. They've arrested hundreds of MS-13 members. And if you remember the 2 young teenage girls who were murdered there, John prosecuted that case. He knows this area, maybe this group as much as anybody in America, maybe more. The subcommittee on the cartel Jalisco Nueva Generacion, New Jalisco, will be led by trial attorney Brett Reynolds of the Narcotics and Dangerous Drugs Section in the department's criminal division. Brett has led or co-led several investigations into the cartel that have led to indictments of some of its highest members. The subcommittee on Sinaloa will be led by Assistant United States Attorney Matthew Sutton of the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of California. Matthew prosecuted several Sinaloa kingpins, led multiple international investigations targeting the Sinaloa cartel leaders, resulting in seizures of millions of dollars and drug proceeds and thousands of kilograms of illegal drugs. The subcommittee on Clan del Golfo will be led by Assistant United States Attorney Robert Emery of the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida. AUSA Emery has secured convictions against the top leadership of Clan del Golfo, including the kingpin, Henry del Jesus Lopez Landano, who commanded over 1,000 men, armed men, for that cartel. So the subcommittee on Lebanese Hezbollah will be led by AUSA Elon Graff of the Southern District of New York. AUSA Graff is overseeing the prosecution of 2 alleged members of Hezbollah's external security organization, the first such operatives to be charged with terrorism offenses in the United States. This subcommittee will be led and staffed by members of the Hezbollah Financing and Narco-Terrorism Team, which a group I organized and directed in January of this year. And they've made a lot of progress, and I think they proved the model of this kind of effectiveness. So the team is composed of experienced international trafficking, terrorism, organized crime, and money laundering prosecutors who are tasked with investigating individuals and networks providing support to Hezbollah. I've ordered each of these subcommittees to provide me with specific recommendations within 90 days on the best way to prosecute these groups, the tactics they intend to use, and how to ultimately take them off our streets. With the advice of these experienced professionals, the department will be better able to follow the President's order and dismantle these organized criminals. I think this subcommittee, with experienced, aggressive, knowledgeable prosecutors, working with some of the best agents we have in the country, is the right model to use. I believe that these organizations are going to find that they are facing far more intense pressure maybe than they've done in the past. And we're going to enhance our ability to work with all our government agencies, both here and our allies abroad. So I want to encourage each of you to keep up the good work you're doing, to keep hammering these groups. With this new task force in place, our efforts will be more targeted. I believe they'll be more effective. Thank you all for what you do. Jesse, thank you for hosting us this morning. Your great team here has so many challenges in the nation's capital. We're proud of the work we're doing. We'd like to continue to support you and get even more effective in making this city safer and more productive. Thank you all. God bless.